Genshin Impact version 5.6 is shaping up to be absolutely packed. And in this video, I'm going over everything we know so far, from the confirmed new characters and upcoming story content in Mondstadt, to some possible reruns we can anticipate based on patterns and information we've gathered. I'll also throw in a few of my own thoughts and speculations along the way. First up, Escoffier. You may have come across names like Effie or Akafie floating around, but those turned out to be inaccurate. Her name is Escoffier, and she's the new 5-star cryo character debuting in version 5.6. She wields a polearm and has a striking appearance. Blonde hair, a high-slit outfit, white chef-inspired clothing, and a classic chef's hat. If you watched the recent Veresa trailer, you might have spotted her there. What's intriguing is that, although she's shown in the context of Natlan, it's been mentioned that she's not actually from there. Some theories suggest she hails from Fontaine, but works in Natlan as a top-tier chef, which adds an interesting layer of mystery to her background. Now, let's talk about her kit. While her full abilities haven't been officially revealed yet, early information gives us a pretty solid idea of how she operates. Escoffier's elemental skill and burst both apply a cryo and hydro resistance debuff to enemies when they hit. What's unique is that the strength of this debuff scales based on how many cryo or hydro characters are in your team. Here's the breakdown. 1 cryo hydro character equals minus 5% resistance. 2 cryo hydro characters equals minus 10% resistance. 3 cryo hydro characters equals minus 15% resistance. 4 cryo/hydro characters equals a massive minus 55% resistance. This debuff lasts for 12 seconds, which is huge. But the catch is that her effectiveness hinges on building your team around cryo and hydro elements. That said, she offers some serious resistance shred support for those elements, making her a powerful enabler for characters like Skirk and potentially future cryo or hydro characters down the line. Speaking of Skirk, from what we've seen so far, it looks like Skirk herself might also be locked into hydro and cryo teams. This makes Escoffier an even more valuable addition if you're planning to build around those elements. With her ability to reduce enemy resistances so drastically, she's shaping up to be a must-have for specialized team compositions. Version 5.6 is definitely bringing some exciting new possibilities, and Escoffier looks like she's going to be a game-changer for cryo and hydro-focused teams. However, proceed with caution. Escoffier's kit is still subject to change. While the information we have so far paints a solid picture of Escoffier's role and potential, it's important to take it with a grain of salt. Her full kit is expected to be revealed tomorrow, so although we have a rough idea of her strengths, it's best to hold off on making any final judgments. We still need to see how her scaling works and what kind of utility she might bring beyond her debuff abilities. Introducing Aoife, an unconventional catalyst user. Now, let's talk about Aoife. Unfortunately, it's confirmed that he's a 4-star Anemo character who uses a catalyst. But here's the exciting twist. While his weapon might technically be a catalyst, its in-game model looks like a gun. Yes, a literal gun. It's an interesting design choice, but honestly, with Genshin's growing creativity in weapon models, it's not that surprising anymore. As of now, we don't have any concrete information about his abilities, so that's something we'll need to keep an eye out for during the upcoming beta or drip marketing reveals. Speaking of which, the official drip marketing for both Escoffier and Aoife is expected in about a week. But if you're as impatient as I am, the unofficial leaks will start surfacing tomorrow, giving us a clearer picture of what they can do. It's always exciting to get a sneak peek at early kit breakdowns before the official announcements drop. Rerun predictions. Who's coming back in version 5.6? When it comes to reruns, version 5.6 seems to be following a predictable pattern. During the Natlan arc, every patch has included at least one rerun of a Fontaine character. So far, the only Fontaine character who hasn't had a rerun is Emily, making her a strong candidate to show up this time around. If you missed her during her original banner, this could be your second chance. Natlan reruns have also already begun, with Zilonen getting her rerun in the first half of version 5.5. This opens the door for either Mualani or Kenich to appear next. Both of them are still relatively fresh in players' minds, but based on Hoyoverse's rerun pattern, Mualani seems like the safer bet. new story content, and an exciting weekly boss. Now, here's where things get even more exciting. You may have heard whispers that version 5.6 will introduce new story content in Mondstadt, along with a brand new weekly boss tied to that update. While details are still scarce, this edition could breathe new life into Mondstadt's narrative and provide players with a fresh challenge. With all these developments on the horizon, version 5.6 is shaping up to be one of the most exciting updates yet. Whether you're saving for Escoffier, curious about Aoife, or hoping to snag a rerun character, there's plenty to look forward to in the coming weeks. A major return to Mondstadt and a surprising new development. The upcoming Mondstadt story in version 5.6 is a big deal. It marks the first significant dive into Mondstadt's lore in quite a while. But here's where things get even more interesting. Just a few hours ago, a new leak surfaced, suggesting that Durin might become a playable character in the future. According to the leak, Durin will use a medium-sized male model, similar to Venti, which immediately starts connecting some dots. This version definitely sounds exciting. Before we end, let's have a recap of what's coming in Genshin Impact version 5.6. Version 5.6 is packed with exciting contents. Escoffier, a 5-star cryo polearm user who seems connected to Fontaine but is currently working in Natlan. She's rumored to be a strong support for Skirk, focusing on debuffing cryo and hydro resistance. Aoife, a 4-star Anemo Catalyst user whose weapon model looks like a literal gun, adding a unique twist to his design. Reruns on the horizon. Based on previous patch patterns, we're likely to see reruns for Emily and either Mualani or Kenich, continuing the trend of featuring Fontaine and Natlan characters. Mondstadt story content and a new weekly boss. A significant Mondstadt update is coming, along with a fresh weekly boss tied to that content. Are you excited about Escoffier and Aoife? Or are you going all in for Skirk's much-anticipated release? Do you think Escoffier will bring cryo and freeze gameplay back to the meta? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for future updates. See you next time, travelers.